A vulpine tail snared my leg mid-sentence. Now escape isn't an option. I had always thought the rumors about the Silverwood forest were overblown. They spoke of fox-like humanoids, the vulpine, who could bend shadow and instinct alike to their will. My job was simple. Map a section of the forest for a local wildlife documentary. Nothing dangerous, nothing supernatural. At least, that's what I told myself as I trudged through the dense undergrowth, microphone boom in hand and camera strapped across my shoulder. The sun was dipping behind the canopy, and shadows stretched like skeletal fingers across the forest floor. I was narrating into the camera, trying to make the footage lively, when a rustle to my left froze me mid-word. My voice trailed off and my pulse spiked. "Hello? Anyone there?" called out. My words felt childish against the quiet, oppressive darkness. A flick of movement, fast, deliberate, darted behind a tree. I squinted. That's when I saw it. A pair of amber eyes reflecting the last slivers of sunlight, followed by the unmistakable shape of a tail. Thick, russet, and tipped with black. It flicked once, then darted behind a dense thicket. I swallowed hard. My rational mind told me it was probably a fox, but there was something in those eyes, something intelligent, alive, knowing. I was taking a cautious step forward when a soft brush of fur wrapped around my ankle. I nearly screamed. My leg stopped mid-stride, my body tipping forward. The tail held firm, pulling me closer toward the shadows. "What the hell, hey? Let go!" I shouted, trying to kick free. But the grip was like iron-threaded silk, impossible to break without hurting whatever had ensnared me. From the trees a figure emerged. Taller than any fox, slender but muscular, with pointed ears and an elegant muzzle. It moved with predatory grace. Her eyes, amber piercing, locked onto mine. I didn't mean to intrude," I stammered, struggling against the tail that had latched onto me like a predator to prey. "You're already intruding," she said, her voice a melodic mix of laughter and warning. "And now you can't leave." My heart thudded. Look, I'm just a documentarian. I don't want trouble." She tilted her head, ears twitching. The tail around my leg tightened, but not painfully, just enough to remind me I wasn't going anywhere. She circled me slowly, each step measured, her claws clicking softly on the leaf-strewn ground. "Most humans run when they see me," she said. "But you speak as if you belong here. That makes you curious." I swallowed, my mind racing for any solution. But I realized, with a pang of fear and fascination, that my curiosity had indeed led me here. And now it had me trapped. I can leave," I said, trying to sound confident. "I just don't want to upset you." Her tail flicked once, gently tugging me closer. "You can't leave," she repeated. "Not until you understand why you came." I didn't understand. My pulse pounded. And yet, I couldn't stop looking at her. There was something in her eyes, a question and a challenge, and a warmth that contradicted the sharpness of her teeth. "Why me?" I asked, voice trembling. "Because you saw me," she said simply. "Most humans ignore what they cannot comprehend. You watched, you spoke, and you stayed." I took a cautious breath. "And what happens now?" She crouched slightly, tilting her head in a feline-like curiosity. "Now you learn." Hours seemed to pass in minutes. She led me deeper into the forest, tail always snaring my leg if I strayed too far. I followed silently, overwhelmed by the whispering wind through silvered leaves, the faint glow of phosphorescent moss underfoot, and the thrill of being watched by a creature I had only believed existed in legend. Eventually, we reached a clearing where moonlight spilled over a crystalline pond. She stopped and released my leg, though her eyes never left mine. "Why bring me here?" I asked, feeling both fear and awe. "Because the forest chooses who sees its truths," she said. "And you will carry one now." I stared, uncertain what she meant, until a ripple across the pond's surface revealed visions. Memories, moments, places I had never seen, moving like shadows and light across the water. And in them I saw the lives of the Vulpine. Guardians, wanderers, hunters, and keepers of secrets older than the forest itself. "You see," she whispered. I nodded, breathless. Every instinct screamed to run, but every part of me wanted to stay. "Remember this," she said, stepping closer, tail brushing my shoulder like a protective hand. "You can leave, eventually, but the forest will always remember that you belong now. That you know." I swallowed. The tail that had once ensnared my leg now seemed to pulse with a strange reassurance. Escape wasn't an option, not because I was trapped, but because I didn't want to be. As dawn approached, she disappeared into the mist, leaving me with a rising sun, my heart pounding, and a story no human would believe. But I didn't care. I had been touched by the forest, claimed by the wild, and changed forever. And somewhere deep in the Silverwood, I knew her amber eyes watched still, waiting for the next curious soul to stumble where I had, and be snared by a tale that never let go. As we reached a clearing, moonlight spilled across a crystalline pond, painting the world in silver and shadow. She finally released my leg, but her eyes never left mine, amber and unreadable. For a moment, I felt the weight of every heartbeat in the forest, every rustle of leaf and whisper of wind. "Why bring me here?" I asked, my voice trembling. "Because the forest chooses who sees its truths," she said. "And you will carry one now." On the pond's surface, visions shimmered. Lives of the Vulpine, guardians and wanderers, hunters and keepers of secrets older than any human memory. I saw their stories unfold in fleeting images of triumph and sorrow, laughter and pain. It was overwhelming, impossible, and yet mesmerizing. "You see," she whispered, tail brushing my shoulder with a strange, protective warmth. I nodded, breathless. My fear had not vanished, but it had changed. I realized escape wasn't an option, not because she forced me, but because part of me didn't want to leave. "Remember this," she said. "The forest will always remember that you belong now. That you know." Before I could respond, she melted into the mist, leaving only the soft glow of moonlight and the faint scent of pine. I stood at the edge of the pond, heart pounding, knowing that the story I had stumbled into would never leave me. I had been touched by the wild, claimed by the forest, and changed forever. And deep in the Silverwood, I knew her amber eyes still watched, waiting for the next curious soul to step too close, and be ensnared by a tale that never let go.